Hello Taurus, welcome to your February 2024 reading. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. This is going to help you basically plan ahead for everything you need to know in the month ahead. If you need to look at any of the January forecasts, just know that they're all on the main channel page, so feel free to take a look. Let's move on to channeled messages, and there were quite a few really important things that came through in dreams this morning. The first was this wonderful scene that reminded me of the Six of Swords, which is why I featured it here. And I saw two people in a boat. The sun was either rising or setting, but the main message here was something was coming to a close. And as I paid attention to the interactions between the two people on the boat, I could sum it up in one word: peace. And I also could feel that there was something much more difficult that came before this peace. So maybe some anger, maybe some argument, maybe some sort of water under the bridge, figuratively speaking. And now it felt like both sides just didn't need or want to go there, or everything that needed to be said was said. And instead, there was a focus on the horizon here. So what this is really conveying is the importance of letting go. It's not always like forgiveness can come later, but sometimes what happens is a sense that there's simply something better waiting. And this can be in respect to a job, a relationship, a friendship, any number of things in your life. The Six of Swords is moving in a new and a healthier direction. And that sunrise or sunset is either side of the coin, basically showing the end of one thing, the beginning of something new. So that felt really good. Closure, moving on, and peace. So if you've been in a sort of contentious or uncomfortable place, like at the end of last year, it feels like this first quarter of the year is starting to open up new opportunities, and most importantly, a sense of healing and closure. The next thing that I saw really kind of nicely ties into this, which is healing broken wings. I saw someone holding a little bird. The wings, I could tell, had been through a moment or two. There was a bandage around them, but it felt like the bird was getting its strength back and was ready to fly again. And if I had to think of a card of recovery and bouncing back, or second chances or new beginnings, judgment is definitely in that category. And it can represent, again, this renewal, life after death, or a new start after a false start. And the key thing in both of these cards is to fix your eyes on what's important, where you can make an impact, and to also allow yourself to spread your wings and try something new. Some of you may also be a proverbial healer of broken wings, meaning that you're like a mama or papa bear that tends to, people come to you for help, for support, for nurturing. Make sure you put some of that energy in your own life as well, because this is a moment for growth and rebounding. And that sums up everything in the channeled messages. So let's take a look at the cards now and see how all of these messages blend together. As I get started here, just a quick reminder, you can always use this for your sun, rising, and moon sign. And if you stick around until the latter portion, I'll actually go into all of those a little bit more. All right, let's focus on the energy of February and see what it's bringing for Taurus. All right, really interesting so far. Let me expand it, but I'm seeing so many different people entering into your life. This is a really social month and a month where I can see a lot of networking opportunities. But before I get ahead of myself, let me finish pulling the rest of the spread. right, folks, let's get started. We're going to begin with Catalyst Energy first. Your card today is the Clouds, and the clouds are reversed, meaning that there is a clearing moment that is coming through. Behind me, the tree is calm right now, but there's been a lot of breezy energy today. I had intense rain yesterday, and now everything's drying out and a storm is clearing. And if we look really quickly at what's going on here, it kind of parallels the spread in front of you. This tower in reverse connects with the cloud, meaning that the dust is starting to settle from the changes in your life. Some of you may have just moved, maybe moved to a new place, moved in with someone, new relationship. Some of you might also be exiting out of something significant, but there's so many new things coming into your life. The key thing that you want to do right now is be as clear as possible. If I were to connect this with a single card in tarot, it would be the Seven of Cups. The Seven of Cups often has a person looking up at the sky, trying to figure out what they want, where they stand. It's a consideration card, but sometimes it can be a card where there's confusion. So I think the first message for you to really focus on this month is a question of what it is that you seek. What are you trying to do? What do you stand for? And if you have anything in your life where you're not clear, this is a time to get that clarity so that we can get this in the upright position. You can really focus. The sky is clear. So that's message number one. Ask questions, focus on what matters. And if there's anything that's distracting you, this is the time to clear it out. Let's take a look at your centermost card. It's a time of recovery. So the Ten of Swords in the upright position is often a period where there's a lot of pain, where you're trying to work through things, where you may have even had a really triggering moment. But in the reverse, it's saying better days are ahead. Can you see the sun peeking out of the clouds here? There's always hope, even in these sorts of cards here where there's shadow energy or frustration or pain, because that's really what that is. It's a teacher. And I talk about pain as a teacher. Many of you are at the point where you're graduating from that particular type of lesson. So you can just say, thank you for showing me the strength that I have. I no longer need this kind of lesson in my life. Focus also on the physicality of the Ten of Swords. This can often have to do with back pain. So if you are lifting anything like for work, if you're in construction or if you've just moved and you've carried something too heavy, because these two cards are right next to each other, you really want to take care of that. We have a good outcome here, but you have to make the proper changes in your life, okay? This can also be chronic pain or fatigue, or even something in the environment that constitutes like a toxic work environment or relationship or something like that. So we want health in mind, body, and spirit, and we want to make sure that if there was anything that is antithetical to that health, it's time to say goodbye. The good news is, crossing this card, we have the Nine of Wands, which is such a great card for perseverance. If we take a close look at this card, you'll actually see someone here with a bandage around their forehead, meaning they've been through things, but they're standing tall, they're standing strong, and they're also kind of looking over their shoulder and reviewing just how far they've come. And they realize in this moment, it may be a bit of a push, but it's worth it. They're going to make it to the finish line. And that's the main message, Taurus, is just don't give up, okay? Take proper care of yourself. This card typically affects the head space. So it can be headaches, migraines, sometimes even from grinding your teeth or TMJ. There can be also headaches from that or jaw pain from that. So definitely tune into that part of your body, give yourself proper care. Now, as a positive card, it is just crossing this, so there's no reversal with this. It means that you can use your pushiness and your ambition and your sort of ability to speak well and do what you need to do to your advantage. So this is a time where people, like it or not, are going to need to recognize what it is that you have to say or offer, and you can move something forward, okay? So don't give up. Don't be afraid to push yourself. Don't be afraid to make sure that you are being heard or listened to, and know that that work is going to pay off. It feels like many of you have already done the homework here. The Knight of Wands represents inspiration, an idea, and some action that's already been taken. All you have to do now is continue to honor the momentum and keep moving things forward. A knight also is willing to fight for what matters, right? Oftentimes they're an agent of like a queen or a king, and they are going to make sure that whatever battle needs to be fought is going to be fought correctly. So pick and choose your battles wisely. Know that you have a chance to really make things happen. And also, when it comes to your intellectual property and ideas, this is kind of unique to this read, but it's what I'm getting. Make sure that that's protected. Make sure that you get, copyright, patent, or legal protection for something that's important to you. And then just know this, with the Knight of Wands, people are willing to follow you, but someone needs to take the lead. And the question here is, are you ready to take the lead? Okay. Now let's get into a really interesting trifecta of cards: 10 of Wands, Tower, and 10 of Cups. All reversed, but this is telling an interesting story here, which is movement, change, and happiness. And it's very closely analogous to what I was talking about with the Six of Swords earlier. Let's start off with this card first. As I said a few moments ago, this represents completion and graduation and basically accomplishing whatever goal you set to do. So this is good, folks. This is really good. But as you can see, if we turn it upright, the person is a little tired. They're fatigued. Sometimes that very last step is the hardest one. So the reversal of this is reminding you that you don't have to carry the load alone. You can delegate. You can ask for help. You can also just be realistic with how much you can take on at any given point in any given day, and just say no as necessary, okay? You will still finish it, but you'll have something to give when you get past the finish line. You won't burn yourself out. And that's the main thing here, because if you continue to push yourself too much, then the Tower sets in. So I think the main thing this month is self-care, listening to the body, listening also to the emotional and the mental health portions. And if you're feeling stress, anxiety, etc., again, leaning on others for support. Now, the Tower in reverse is actually an empowered tower. Say that 2 or 3 times fast. The Tower in the upright position, we're not really controlling. It's the universe coming in and saying, you had a chance to fix it, you didn't. I'm going to help you fix it because you have no choice but to do this. When the Tower is reversed, it means that you see change coming. As long as you are clear-headed, you can see this, and you can then do something and decide to ride that wave of change and land on your feet. And that's the opportunity this month, Taurus, to see what needs to change. Here's how you can see the change coming. You're going to feel it. Some of you are going to feel an internal trigger. This doesn't feel right. Some of you are tired of negativity, because this can also represent someone who is overtly critical with no constructive elements. And that's enough to agitate you and say, I'm going to find better places to go. For some of you, your ideas are shot down because this is a great idea that's met with an audience that's closed-minded. So you're going to pick that up and say, I'm going to go somewhere else where I can be listened to. The good news is we have 2 favorable cards in near future and outcome. There's something right here that's a little bit agitating. The agitating piece is to help you get away from someone or something. And I saw 6 of Swords, but we've got the 10 of Wands here and the Tower, very similar energies of movement and getting past something. And I told you when I looked at the people in the boat, it just felt like there was water under the bridge, an argument, something that was bitter, but we're getting to the sweet part, which is peace and movement. So recognize what you don't like, put your attention towards what it is that you want, and fight for that. That's what we saw. There's something worth fighting for. The Tower in reverse can also represent a couple of other things. It's a decision to rebuild or do some construction or some renovation. So some of you may be looking at your home and saying, I need to fix this, or it can be preventative maintenance in a car. It can be preventative maintenance in the body. So there may be something, an elective surgery or some procedure that you've been putting off, but you realize I need to deal with this sooner than later, okay? What I love about this is proactivity. And I also love that many of you are survivors at the core, so you're going to be able to push through whatever challenge this might be. Everything here is sweet. There's a little bit of challenge at the beginning of the month, but it sweetens up as we move forward. The first thing comes through as a little bit of a surprise. 10 of Cups in reverse. You could have someone coming forward and saying, hey, I'm interested. They could be interested in promoting you. They could be interested in asking you out. There's some sort of genuine interest that comes through. but there's a little bit of disbelief from your portion or from your part. And you just have to decide if you feel good with whatever this is that they're putting on the table. Some of you are also longing for what you see in this card, which is love, which is friendship, which might be family as well, could be stability, networking. And so this is a month to put the 10 of Cups energy into action and start to do things that strengthen existing relationships, that allow you to meet new people. That also, if we were talking about what we saw here, the two previous 10s, this can be a pushy person, this can be a negative person, and now you're ready for a loving person or environment. So we need to move towards this 10. And ultimately, the 10 of Pentacles is the only missing one, and that is firm stability. But loving yourself and loving yourself enough to move beyond something that doesn't sustain you, that's a really powerful thing. Let's look at how you came through this month. Really, really strong. This is one of my favorite court cards. The Queen of Wands can do anything that she sets her mind to. She follows her instincts and intuition. She has this ability to bring fire and light and energy to anything as represented by the sunflower. And she can make things grow or work where others can't. That's why we see the desert behind her. She's also fierce. Notice how we always see lions or tigers on the crest. So use your intuition, imagination, and be bold this month. And don't be afraid to express what you feel or think. If you had rejection in the past, a cat has 9 lives. You have the ability this time to make it work. And some of it is just sheer stubbornness. And I'm going to keep saying it. It's a good thing sometimes to have that strength of mind. And she's definitely one of the strongest thinking cards that I could pull. She's upright. So trust your intuition. You can also rely on someone else. We talked about delegation. This can be an assistant, can be a partner, can be a helper. We're seeing that as well. Let's move to the environment now. We have the High Priestess. She is in the reverse state, and this represents someone around you that is really insightful and may sometimes even be a little bit tricky in their intentions or their communication. When I pulled the card, I got a crown activation. And basically my head felt as if there was a bunch of ants on it. It started to itch. There's nothing wrong. It went away pretty quickly. It was a psychic imprint that I picked up on when I touched this card. So for me, when that happens in real life, it's someone that has agitated thoughts. So it could be anger, it could be frustration, anxiety, and sometimes it is trying to get in your head and think, how can I get them to do what I want? So if you pick up on that, if you are talking to someone and it feels like they have an agenda or it feels like they're trying to manipulate the narrative, pump the brakes, take a deep breath, get some perspective, do some investigation, trust your instincts on this, okay? The good news is you have the ability to tap into your own creativity, your own strength, power, and energy. And that's really what the focus should be this month. Because when you can get this upright, then the people that you call in won't be trying to see where they can poke a hole in something. They'll be more like, oh, this person's got it together. So just trust your instincts. I really think that's how you can flip the card in the upright, is saying no to something, focusing on what you can control, where your creative energy should go, and not wasting time spinning your wheels with someone that kind of gives you that feeling of, that I was picking up on, agitation. Even if you don't have, the same sort of sensations I do, sometimes you would be able to feel a sense of fatigue after talking to someone, or you could be annoyed. You could just feel like the wind was knocked out of you, like all the air was taken out of the room. There's different ways that you can pick up on energy that don't have to simply be something that you're feeling in your body. So trust all of those as well. Okay, let's look at what's opportunity this month, or what's coming in hope spheres and opportunity, I should say. We have the King of Pentacles. It's one of the best cards when we're looking at resources or growth. So there could be someone drawn to you this month that has an opportunity for you. So if you're looking for work, really auspicious. If you want to take something to the next level, someone is interested in that. If you simply want to focus on your own development, that's great. And look at what we've got on the crown there. We have some bulls, which is great for Taurus. It's your representation there. So you have a chance to basically accomplish quite a bit when it comes to resource and personal development and growth, all of that is coming through in a positive, a net positive, okay? And yes, there could be friendship or love or support coming through as well, since this was in opportunities and it's touching the Page of Cups. The Page of Cups is reversed, so let's discuss what that means for you. For you, it means that self-care with respect to healing, because we did have a card at the center that represents pain or disappointment, the Ten of Swords. It is reversed, meaning that it's lessening, but there's still some stuff that you're letting go of. So this is about saying, I love myself enough to take some time and space to deal with the heart, to deal with the head, to deal with the healing. Then and only then will my cup be upright and will I be ready to embrace actually what's already knocking on the door. The good news is there is this Ten of Cups moment that is ready, but you have to prepare yourself first. And it really boils down to healing and self-confidence. Because when you value yourself enough to say, yes, I can, yes, I will, and yes, I deserve this, then the universe comes through and you're going to have that overflowing chalice like we see in the Ace of Cups. So overall, we get a clarifying moment, an epiphany, if you will, an incident that comes through that you either control or that is going to change your trajectory for the better. But the number one thing that has to be dealt with is healing. Finishing what you started, healing, clearing your head, and then we get a lot of new people, new opportunities, potentially love and happiness. That is the payoff. Let's expand this forecast. We'll get some specific messages in each of these areas, starting off with health first. So the oracle card for health is gossip, and it's pretty straightforward. It's saying, of course, avoid gossip if you find yourself in a situation where people want to start talking about someone, because invariably it always has a way of getting back. We can see the Ten of Cups here, and you really don't want that to sort of happen because it's embarrassing, because oftentimes you don't even want to be a part of it. And so my advice here is to clamp it down when it starts. Just say, I don't feel comfortable talking about this or that person, or this isn't right, we shouldn't do it. You can just walk away too, okay? Any of those things will help. Now, if you have people gossiping about you, in tarot, this would be like Three of Cups reversed. Oftentimes it's a clique. Think of the movie Mean Girls. It's a group that's like just not very inviting. But at the end of the day, do you really want to be a part of that? Probably not. If someone's doing something that is overtly hurtful, possibly not even legal, because this is like these three cards here can represent someone that's trying to sort of like damage reputation or company or doing something more than just gossip, absolutely you should speak up. But pick and choose your battles when it comes to gossip, and know that there's always going to be people that think they know something or try to kind of like take someone down a notch, and some things are just not worth putting energy into. But if it's something that crosses a line, you know, you can speak up this month. You have the power, as we see here with the Queen of Wands, to make a difference. You can make a difference no matter what. You can just say, I heard what you said. If you have a problem, come to me. If you're listening to someone gossiping around about someone else, you could say the same thing. If you have a problem, why are we talking about it? Go air your grievances with them. I don't want to hear this. Be strong, be firm, be direct, and let people know where you stand. And then walk away, okay? Interestingly enough, this is going to help you in all aspects of your life, but it may be necessary to move away from this because it is not something that is... It is distracting, it is painful, and it pushes things in the wrong area, okay? Don't trust everything you read or see. Everybody can write or say something. Go to the source and ask them about it. Don't take things secondhand. This also includes like reviews and things like that, because anybody that's angry can just type something. So vet all of your sources and make sure that you're really hearing the true. There's at least two sides to every story. Make sure you're getting as much information as you can and as objective a point of view as possible. All right, that's all we have to say on that one. Now let's just look at general health messages. I highlighted many of these in the general portion, but we'll talk about them briefly here one more time. This is acute pain. So if you feel that in your body, obviously you'll want to work with a professional on that. This can be headaches or anything around the jaw or head. This can also be mostly focused on the back. Both the 10 of Wands and 10 of Swords can be back pain. This is necessary cleaning that needs to be done, something different from what we talked about earlier, or a lack of organization that causes stress and anxiety. So getting organized, cleaning things up. And for some of you, if you're moving, don't move on your own. That was something I learned on by myself a few years ago, because you can injure yourself. I broke a foot doing that just because it pulled a muscle. I had too heavy of a load. So definitely, ask for help. We have like friends and family here. In general, this is saying you don't have to do anything all on your own. Sometimes it's better to have a cooperative energy and share that burden a bit, okay? Intuitive development and healing definitely wants to come through. Concentration could be a little difficult. For some of you, it's because where you're living, working, studying, etc., it's not ideal. So a move is the most healthiest thing. That's not the right way to say it. A move is the healthiest thing that many of you can do right now. So if you're ready, this is the month to pull the trigger and say, let's do it. Let's go in that direction. You could be moving in with someone. That could cause stress and anxiety just because maybe for some of you, you're used to being on your own, because these are independent cards. And so there may be some arguments or disagreements as you start to figure things out. But that's kind of normal when you're sort of joining energies. So just be patient with one another, okay? I mean, we're kind of getting into relationships, but that's part of health as well. Thankfully, I like all of the outcome cards here and the possibilities. So it's just sorting through emotions. And that's the final piece, is to pay attention to your mental and your emotional state and make sure that that part of your health is being maintained and supported as well. Let's move on to the wealth message here, which is your resources, your life purpose, and your career. And 2 cards came through. Both of them came through reversed. Let's pull these up to the camera so we can see them a little closer. The first card was the Tiger, and in the upright position, this would be something that is fast, that gets what it wants, that can land on its feet, very much like what we see at the foot of the Queen of Wands. So it's basically saying you are nimble, you are strong, you're intuitive, trust that. The second card is the Beautiful Elephant, which is a symbol of grace and intelligence, and also the ability to move beyond blocks, because the Lord Ganesha is connected with this. So you may be selling yourself short when it comes to your ability to land on your feet, your leadership, your intelligence, or your ability to solve a problem. Don't get overwhelmed, and don't underestimate your own skills, because those are 2 of the best leadership oracle cards I could possibly pull. So now let's take a look at overarching challenges, and then I'll break it down into 3 categories. So this is for everybody in their life when it comes to resources. The main thing this month is to get focused. Remember earlier we were looking at the discombobulation that can come through with the 7 of Cups. There may be too many options in front of you. You may not know where like you start and someone else begins, because their thoughts and energy and sort of like opinions are always out there. So pull yourself back a little bit, get a bird's eye view, and decide what matters to you. That's the first thing here. And this is really important when it comes to like what you want to do with your money, with your time, for your career, all of that. It's up to you. It's your choice. That's empowering. It can also be a lot. So just take a deep breath and eventually trust in your heart on that. Okay. Other things that I'm noticing. For some of you, it's just ending a cycle of overwork, getting burned out. I mentioned earlier that some of you are, sort of mending broken wings. So if you're constantly helping everybody, then you just get exhausted, you get tapped out. This goes for any type of healer, by the way, whether you are literally a healer, or you work in medicine, or you're a therapist, or your mom, or your dad, or you're just someone who listens to everybody complain. Eventually, there is a point where you have to say enough is enough. And that's what this card is all about, is having firm boundaries. And there can be a lot of love and a lot of energy around you, but you can't be everything to everyone all the time. Making necessary changes in the environment, especially if it's distracting or toxic or not to your liking. Moving beyond rejection and finding a place where you're loved and appreciated. You can do it this month. We have a card here in possibilities that's all about value. So if you can see it, you can find it. And that's the overarching message there. Let's break it down a little bit deeper into those that have a job, those that are seeking employment, or those that are either retired or not focusing on work at this moment in time. Starting first with those that have a job. change. There could be a new boss, there could be a merger, there could be layoffs. There's something big going on where the structure of what you do, even your job, you could get a promotion, by the way. Something big is changing so that it isn't what it was last year or even yesterday. So be ready for the change, embrace the change. You can't fight it. That's the main thing with this. As I said earlier, work smarter, not harder. And if you're going to go into a position of the queen or the king, you have to delegate. You can't do it all. And again, knowing that you can't make everybody happy is a freeing sort of realization or epiphany. You're positioned now so that you probably should be stepping up or doing more or feeling more in control. And if you're not, it might be time to step out. So you're either stepping up or stepping out for the most part. There's a lot of love, support, and energy coming your way. There may be some people that are envious of that, envious of your success or your love. That's on them. That's not on you, okay? And again, remember, everybody's got an opinion, and sometimes they just aren't very kind about how they say that. So take it all with a grain of salt. The main thing here is self-care. And if you don't like this, whatever this is, a job or place that you're living, a move is necessary. And if you're not getting the support or value you need, fight for it. We have 2 of the best cards, actually 3 here, for manifesting and advocating for that. Okay? Changing the channel to those that are looking for work. It might be time to consider a pivot in the career, repackaging of skills. It might be time to move physically from one location to another. There's heightened creativity, or for some of you, maybe even rolling up your sleeves and getting into the thick of the sort of money and production sort of flow a little bit more. But can you find a job? Yes. A move might be necessary. A change or pivot might be necessary. Reaching out to your extended network, probably necessary as well. Don't take a job you don't like. I know sometimes we don't have a choice, but if given the choice, make sure that there is this sense of satisfaction. You're going to be more successful in the long run if you're satisfied with what you're doing. Got a lot of boss cards coming through. It feels like you're positioned to get that title that you're looking for. So I wish you luck. And it does look that, like, after a period of rejection, there is something on the other side that's worth it. We have a rainbow here, right? But you got to change up something in the way that you're looking for that to happen. And again, I think a move or a career pivot is going to be key. And also make sure that the way that you're presenting yourself is clear. So your resume, your website, or just when you're communicating on an interview, be crystal clear in intentions. If you are currently retired, then it looks like there's an increased focus on spending time with people that you love. 10 of Cups is networking, community, volunteer, just spending time with your family. This is personal development, and this is spiritual development. And these are the 3 cards where it kind of is all focused. By the way, for everybody this month, the environment matters so much. So if you're looking for a job or if you're already employed, we don't want this. We want this. We want inclusive energy, not exclusive energy. So be mindful of that as you're looking for new opportunities. Okay, let's move on to love and relationships. And this is going to basically deal with all the different types of relationships in your life first, then we'll drill in a little bit more. So we have spiritual gifts. Archangel Raziel coming through saying, thank you for helping me channel my gifts and talents. And both of these cards were reversed, but they're both about spiritual development. So when we're looking at love and partnerships and friendships, you may find people that are on the same spiritual journey as you, or they may be teaching you some lessons that you haven't yet integrated. So the sooner you can integrate those lessons, the better. But more likely than not, we also see the healing hands. This is a chance to heal and release any old sort of energies that no longer serve or suit you, and a chance for you to really lean into your own intuitive and creative path. Let's look at relationships now, just in general, and then I'll delve in a little bit more. Something big is changing in most relationships. So this can be a pressure test. And again, this can be all levels, like friendship or coworker or love. We're looking at just across the board. There's a pressure test going on. It looks like there's a favorable outcome. We'll dig into the specifics as we go into each. And it also feels like for many of you, there's something to celebrate. Again, not everyone is going to be able to do that, but it looks like you're on an upward cycle here. So if they can't celebrate it, you should take a moment to be grateful for the change and the movement that's happening here. Briefly, let's take a look at those that are in a relationship, looking for love, or happily single. If you're in a relationship, it's all about development, movement. We talked about the pressure test. The cool thing for those of you that are in a really stable relationship, we have love and support. We see two really strong partners that can read what's going on. And as long as you talk about your emotions, you can lean into these positive energies here of the Ten of Cups and Page of Cups. However, there are some challenges for some of you. As I said earlier, there could be one partner that's going through a health incident that's out of their control. Sometimes things just pop up. So this is the test here. You're going to lean on each other and get through this. This is a card of perseverance, and this is a card of completion. So it feels like you're set up for success, but it is a distraction, right? There may also be a really big shift. There could be a promotion. There could be a new child in the picture. And there could also be a move. These are things to navigate together. It's big though. It's a big change, but it looks like a big change for the better. So celebrating the fact that it's finally happening, leaning into the strength of your relationship, that's key. This is a person that just does stuff. So I feel like there's a very stable, maybe even a little bit bossy partner that just pulls it all together. And there's someone here that's really good at receiving. We want to see a little bit more reciprocity here from the receiving end. So this person can step up and show how they're feeling a little bit more. This person can also ask if they need something, and that's going to help. And again, there's intuition here, but the lines are a little crossed, or sometimes you're not trusting on that. So just follow on those intuitive leads, and that's going to help. Really expressing love and appreciation, also key here. Overall, I like what I see, folks, okay? This could be the birth of a child, by the way. Okay, so looking now at those that are seeking love in this moment in time. If you're looking for love, right now, the first thing is, are you clear on what you're trying to bring in? Because the cloud card in reverse still shows some clouds that need to clear. The High Priestess in reverse is doubting her intuition. The Tower in reverse is letting the dust settle. I think you need to give yourself a week or two in this new month, and I would say mid-February be better. Give yourself a couple weeks to sort everything out and then land on your feet. But you have multiple choices, and when you have as many choices as I see in the spread, it's typically the universe nudging you and saying, first, be discerning, be clear, second, and you don't have to just kind of go with the first person that comes across the path. There has to be mutual attraction, connection, and interest. With all of that being said, I do see two potential matches here. We have a fire sign that's very keen on a relationship. So they want to get into a long-term relationship. So that may be favorable. We see an earth sign that's pretty playful, may need a little bit more emotionally from you than you may be able to give right now, given all the changes in movement. So be mindful of that. There could also be a child or someone attached to them that is going to be a part of this package or picture as well. So definitely dig into that. Okay. But overall, pretty good. For those of you that are not looking for love, just basically single and happy, here's the cool thing. This is a time to basically have some fun, try completely different things. The Tower in reverse is a Control-Alt-Delete reset sort of moment. So what we see opening up to you could be new types of friendships or relationships that you hadn't been able to experience before. This could be mentorship. This could be just people in the community that you're starting to vibe with. I think that this is a really good time to grow your friendships because we're looking at the energy of relationship. Some of you are just done. I can see why you're not looking for love right now. There could have been a contentious sort of relationship that you got out of, a bad divorce, bad separation, or maybe you're still grieving for the loss of someone. And right now you're like, I just want to have some fun, meet some like-minded people that want to also have some fun. And guess what? You're going to have some luck in that. Again, all that stuff that I was talking about for people looking for love, this could also be friendships or business relationships coming through. And you definitely have the ability to bring new people and new opportunities in your life right now too. So if you are, fortunate enough to also be retired, This could be a side project. This could be travel for fun. I see a nice rebounding energy coming through here as well. Okay, so good stuff overall. And let's not forget about what we see here. Some of you may be inspired to learn more about your own spiritual gifts. So whether that's your psychic or intuitive development, or legitimately going into a healing art, this is a great time to do just that. Okay, let's go ahead now and take a look at your destiny card here. Well, it's completely in alignment with the crowning card. We have transformation, but the transformation card is reversed. This is basically the death card in tarot, and it's saying in this moment in time, to resist change or transformation is to resist growth. So this is a moment where you really have to just lean in to what is opening up to you. So interestingly enough, some clairvoyant energy kind of came through. And as I was looking at that card, I got an activation right here, not like right under the armpit, but kind of like at the edge of the rib cage here. I think this is connected to the thymus and the lymph node system. So your immune response is something that's coming through here. It's time to make some changes when it comes to your general sort of, this is why the burnout thing came through, I think, actually here. So getting enough sleep, eating well, exercising right, doing whatever you can to boost and improve, and maybe in some elements here, rebuild the immune system. That's what I'm picking up on. Sometimes when I pull a card, I will feel something in my body associated with the energy. So it needs to be, and some of you may also have some sort of an old injury here. So whether there was a surgery or like a broken rib or something, I can't quite put my finger on it, but it's healing. That's the good news. And you can do some more to aid with that change. And ultimately, necessary change, end to stagnation, building something more stable in your life. And focusing on your own body and mental and emotional health as really key focal points for this next month in the year here in February. Okay, that's everything. That was a powerful message. So let's go ahead now and take a deeper look at the sun, rising, and moon sign messages as promised, and see what's coming through for February. Sun, rising, and moon. You heard me. Oh my gosh. Such synchronicities here. I'll save it for when we talk about each, but we'll start off with the sun sign. So you received the Three of Cups in reverse. I mentioned earlier that gossip would be associated with this exact card. So everything that I said earlier, you can listen to again, or I'll just recap it. If gossip happens around you, stand up and say, I don't feel comfortable. Let's not talk about this. Why aren't you talking to that person, etc. If you hear something that was said about you, first make sure that it was truly said. Then if you can get to that source, just say, is there a reason you haven't come directly to me? And please stop it, kind of just put your foot down. All right. So you can go back and listen to everything that I said about that earlier. Now let's talk about some additional messages with this. Three of Cups in reverse is moderation. In the upright position, it can be a party, a good time, having some drinks, eating a lot of your favorite foods. But in the reverse, it can be all of those things which might be taking you out of your balance. So, this can lead to problems in health, problems in mental, like the ability to focus and things like that. So everything in moderation. No gossip this month. It's good to have fun, but don't have too much fun. And then now there's a third message here with the Three of Cups reverse, which is some of you are feeling like you need a little bit more time to yourself. It can be a slight hermiting energy. You might also feel like, you're missing out on something. So making enough time for fun, making sure that, you're not having, it's that happy medium, not too much fun, not too little, just kind of make sure that moderation exists. And I think that that's the main thing to focus on for success this month. Okay. Gratitude is a great way to connect to this card as well. So every day, give a little bit of thanks, give yourself a reward in some way, shape, or form, and you'll be on the right path. Let's move on to rising and ascendant. What a great card to come through for Taurus, rising and ascendant. We have the Eight of Pentacles. This means that whatever you put your time and energy behind, you're going to start to see a beautiful return on it. This is education, sort of sinking your teeth into a project that you love. This can also be turning your finances in the right direction. It can be writing, publishing, developing things. It's just a great card for getting work done. So now we're starting to see that there's a lot of abundance with respect to your creative and practical gifts. Keep putting the effort out there. It's totally worth it. And rising and ascendant often connects to work. So I'm seeing some really great energy in that part of your life right now. All right, let's move on to moon. Clarity. This is the other thing that I kind of laughed about because, as we were talking about earlier, this is what the clouds is all about. The good news here is I feel like you're going to be able to sort it out. You just have to trust in yourself. And the message from Spirit this month is you don't need someone else to tell you. You have exactly what it takes to be clear and decisive and make the right choice. Not only that, you can intuit what is going to be a path of least resistance or more resistance. So just trust in your abilities this month and be clear from the get-go. If you can really put it out there at the beginning of the month, the universe can show up and help you manifest. All right, let's go ahead now to your final question. This is a chance for you to ask something that you still want to know about that I haven't yet covered, and we'll see what Spirit has to say. Well, this is such a great answer card. We have the Six of Wands, which constitutes success. So if there's something that you want to do, you have a really great shot of accomplishing that and basically even surpassing your expectations, which is fantastic. It's a reminder here sometimes for success, you have to kind of like show up and lead the charge and people then show up later. So even if you don't get the initial applause or recognition, it's coming, folks. And basically believe in yourself. That's the last message here. Invariably, that's one of the best cards. And if it's yes, no, this is a yes card. It's yes, it's affirmative, it's success oriented. The only things you have to do sometimes is continue to hold the vision, fight for what matters. Notice how both the Six of Wands and the Knight of Wands, they're riding a horse. So go the distance, put in the work, it'll pay off in the long run. That brings this reading to a close, and I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, by the way, do me a favor, like and subscribe. It's absolutely free. It helps the channel grow, and I appreciate that support. You can also follow me across social media so you never miss out on an impromptu reading, news, information, etc. Also, if you'd like to show some love and support, it's absolutely optional, but it does help. You can do that through super stickers, super chat, thanks, or memberships, all available right below the video. A quick reminder that I do not offer private readings, nor do I use direct messages. So if you ever see someone doing that on the internet, just block, report, and let me know about it. You can also go to my website for all the official links and any of the decks that I'm using here. All of that stuff is on my website. My production schedule is as follows. I drop new videos every Monday, Thursday, and Friday. I put a daily video out as well, a short 1-minute one, and you can tune in for a live stream every Sunday at 9:15 a.m. I hope to see you there. And that, my friends, is everything. Wishing you love and happiness and abundance. And I just want to say thank you so much for being the best part of what I do here. Couldn't be here without your support, and it's my honor to be here as well. Take care.